Good afternoon. I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory here with your afternoon update. Sunny and less humid out there today, and that'll continue into tomorrow, but we do heat things up as we get into Independence Day weekend. Then rain chances return to the forecast next week, but no rain to speak of today. We have just a few clouds out there. That's all those little white spots you see on the map. Those are just small fair weather clouds that have popped up, but it's mostly sunny and dry, and that'll be the case not just through the rest of today, but through the rest of this week. Temperature wise, we're sitting in the mid to upper 80s in most locations. A couple spots like Grayville and Oakland City have broken to the low 90s. It's 88 right now in Evansville, and I think we'll tack on a couple more degrees this afternoon. As for the humidity, dew points are sitting in the mid 60s, which is still a little bit humid, but for early July, really not bad. For most of last week and even into the beginning of this week, the muggy meter was way up here, just that stifling, almost air you can wear kind of humidity. That has come down quite a bit. So while it is still a little bit humid out there, it is noticeably improved compared to much of last week, and tomorrow that humidity will still be pretty comfortable. I mentioned I think we'll climb a couple more degrees as we head into the afternoon, topping out somewhere right around 90. Then those temperatures will slowly fall back through the 80s this evening, then through the 70s overnight, eventually dipping into the upper 60s under clear, calm conditions. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny and another nice summer day. Relatively, low humidity, tolerable at the very least, with high temperatures in the lower 90s. Now, I know some locations, including Henderson, do their fireworks celebration on Thursday the 3rd. So if you are headed out to watch fireworks tomorrow evening, it'll be warm and muggy out there, but mostly clear, with temperatures dropping back through the 80s during those fireworks shows. So that's the firework forecast for tomorrow the 3rd. Looking ahead to Friday the 4th at around lunchtime, as a lot of folks will be out grilling, kind of getting the party started. It'll already be warm, with temperatures climbing into the upper 80s to near 90 by lunchtime under ample sunshine. Then by that afternoon, it really turns hot and humid, with high temperatures in the low to mid 90s for Friday the 4th. Then that night, when most folks will be doing their fireworks shows, it's still going to be warm and muggy, with temperatures in the low to mid 80s as those fireworks are getting started. So definitely plan to drink plenty of water on the 4th of July. As for the heat index, it only feels a couple degrees warmer than it actually is today and tomorrow, but that humidity and the heat both increase as we get into the weekend. So heat index values will probably be climbing into the upper 90s to right around that triple-digit mark from Independence Day through the weekend. Now, we do see a slight dip in our temperatures as we get into early next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, highs fall back into the upper 80s to right around 90, which is really right where we should be for this time of year. But that slight dip in our temperatures is also because we see rain returning to the forecast. So mostly sunny and dry from now all the way through at least Saturday. By Sunday, I still think it'll be mostly sunny, but we see a few clouds and a very isolated chance of rain late in the day. Then Monday, that's when the rain chances really start to pick back up as this cold front comes in from the northwest and just kind of skirts its way through the tri-state. That'll kick up a few scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. Not a total washout, but especially during the afternoon and evening, a chance of some scattered rain. And we see that again on Tuesday as that frontal system will kind of take its sweet time moving through our area. By Wednesday of next week, as that finally moves out, our next weather maker moves in. So we may be caught in kind of an unsettled pattern next week where we're not talking about, a rainy week. It's not going to be a total washout, but we get caught into that pattern where just every day, especially as you get into the afternoon and evening, you see those rain chances cropping back up, then tapering off, and then coming back again the next day, and you just get caught in that unsettled weather pattern. I think that's what we may be looking ahead to next week, especially through the first half of the week. So enjoy the sunshine from now at least through Saturday, maybe even Sunday. We're looking at mostly sunny, dry weather, great weather for any of those 4th of July events going on out there, but it will be hot. So make sure you drink lots of water and don't get too much sun, as that's where you can easily overheat. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the forecast, but don't go anywhere. Jamie French and Robinson Miles will be right back with your latest news headlines.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices. Live from 14 News, this is a 14 Digital News Desk update.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. I'm Jamie French.
And I'm Robinson Miles. Well, all week we've been watching the weather department with their fun 4th of July graphics, and we've been left out of the fun, and that shall not stand. So today, for our afternoon update, we're going to talk a little bit about the 4th of July as well, especially some of the events we have going on around the tri-state.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, now's the time to make your plans. You know, we are getting closer, and a lot of these do start tomorrow, so we want to make sure that you guys know what's going on across the tri-state well in advance. So let's start in Davis County. Fireworks will be, their festival is going to be at Yellow Creek Park, and that is tomorrow night. The festival itself will kick off at 5 p.m. Fireworks show begins around 8:30. The Andy Brasher Band is performing. Of course, they've got food trucks, pony rides, petting zoos, inflatables, all that fun stuff over there in Owensboro.
Now, you can't say, looking around the tri-state, that you have a shortage of options because in Henderson, their Independence Day fireworks celebration also on Thursday. This is going to be at Audubon Mill Park. Food vendors are going to start things off at 5 p.m. Then children's activities start at 6 p.m. The fireworks themselves will kick off after dark around 9:15. Now, live music from the Old Dam Community Band will start at 6:30.
Of course, in Evansville, a big one, guys. Fireworks on the Ohio is back, but it's Friday. This event will start at 6 p.m. with over 25 different food trucks along Riverside Drive from Court to Walnut Street. Free activities, of course, like face painting and yard games, also at Riverside in Maine. Special performance by the Boom Squad at 6:30, and then the fireworks show will take place approximately 9:15 p.m. right there on the riverfront.
Now, elsewhere in Warwick County, fireworks in Newburgh are back. So that's going to be in the downtown Newburgh riverfront. Now, this is going to be Saturday, July 5th after sunset. So plan to arrive early because the historic Newburgh Strawberry Social is at noon and the Newburgh Music Festival is at 2.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff. And I also saw where Newburgh mentioned they didn't want to compete with fireworks on the Ohio. They wanted people to go to both events, so that's why they chose to have theirs on Saturday. So you can hit both of those events right there along the riverfront. Fireworks over the Ohio River, of course, such a beautiful sight to see. Now, we've got to talk a little bit about the rules because we can have our fun, but if you're setting off your own fireworks, a few things you need to keep in mind.
Okay, so the Evansville police say that fireworks can only be used from 5 to 10:30 p.m., except on the actual 4th of July, and then they open it up a little bit from 10 a.m. to midnight. Now, fireworks cannot be used on public streets, parks, or any place where they might land on someone else's property.
Yeah, that's right. Now, the Vandenberg Humane Society also says make sure to keep an eye on your pets. You know, with the loud noises, they tend to get spooked. And they say July 4th is the busiest time of year for them with lost and found pets. They simply don't have the space for that. They're already dealing with overcrowding in their shelters, so picking up strays who have ran ran off because they're scared of fireworks really puts a strain on them. So we're actually speaking with him today to kind of gather some tips on how you can make your pet feel a little more comfortable and keep them from running off during the fireworks.
You know, it's been a bit of a running theme over some of the stories we've had over the past few days that sometimes an extra few steps, it might not be the most convenient, but you can never count on things not happening to you, your family, your pets. So just plan ahead a little bit, make sure you're ready, save yourself a little bit of, or get yourself a bit more peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to make sure everyone's having fun. Arden already mentioned drink your water over the weekend, and it's going to be hot again. So just take those few extra steps, like Rob said, just to make sure it's a great, safe 4th of July this year.
Now, just to satisfy my curiosity, were you guys your own fireworks display sort of people growing up?
Ever since I was young, we always go on the boat. We're boating people. We go to Lake Barkley, and we watch them from the water there. So that's been really cool.
Fun.
So we never really did them ourselves. We left it to the professionals.
Now, growing up, I grew up in western Wyoming, right on the border, and that was the state that the fireworks laws were a little more lax.
Oh.
So we knew that everyone from Utah and Idaho would come to Wyoming to get the big fireworks. And when I was a teenager, I felt like my dad realized how much bigger they were and kind of started losing his mind. So the little cul-de-sac in front of our house got pretty intense around the 4th of July for a few years, up until grandkids came along and they got a little bit spooked. So dad had to kind of shift back. But
you had like fireworks over the Ohio in your backyard.
We kind of did.
Wow.
Yeah, fireworks over Lincoln Street and 3rd Avenue.
Perfect.
That's what we were doing.
That's
and
good.
freaking out all the neighbors. So
I love it. Well,
hey,
it's a good time to celebrate, folks. Independence Day.
True. This is the time. Well, thanks so much for carving out a little bit of your afternoon to talk to us. Of course, we're going to have more stories than these, far more detail ahead at 14 News at 4, 5, and 6. Then, of course, this evening at 14 News at 10.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Have a great day.